So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Boluwatife Ajolore, also known as Bolu the Creator, and I'll be your host for this panel session. So I'm going to introduce our speakers, and then our speakers are going to give us a fun fact about themselves. Just a very short line. Maybe they prefer pineapple on their pizza, or they like akara and bread instead of akara and pap. You get. So a fun fact, and after that we'll head straight into the main session for 20 minutes, and then 10 minutes for a Q&A session. Are we good? Okay. So I'll be reading the bio of our first speaker here, Miss Oluwanisola Eludoyin. She is a growth marketing manager with 6+ years of career experience spanning media and tech. She's passionate about helping startups scale beyond work. She has taught workshops, facilitated and spoken at events, including the Omniverse Summit, Makurdi Tech Fest, among others. When she's not building or teaching, she enjoys traveling and unwinding with a good TV show. Please, can you give a round of applause to her? Okay. And our second speaker is Damilola Yusuf Adelodun. She is the commissioner for Kwara State Ministry of Business, Innovation and Technology. She is an entrepreneur and founder of Kidon Global Limited and previously led strategy at Cam Holding, one of Nigeria's largest steel companies. She holds a degree in international business from the University of Dundee, Scotland, and is currently pursuing advanced studies in finance. Damilola is passionate about innovation, investment, and driving economic growth in Kwara State. So a big round of applause for our second speaker. Since you're with the mic currently, I'm just going to ask you the first question.
Okay.
So you've led in the development of major innovation spaces like Innovation Hub that we're currently in, and everybody can see how unique this place is. So my question for you would be, what is one powerful lesson that you've learned on your journey as a woman, and how would you advise younger women who also want to build innovations like this in this space?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
In terms of development of Innovation Hub, I was just lucky to be part of the development because
Okay.
the author and visionary of Innovation Hub was, as we all know, is His Excellency Malam Abdurrahman Abdulrazak. And through the journey, he has started from like the architect. I think right from the inception, we had the MD of Innovation Hub, Temi Kolawole, the MD of Innovation Hub, Temi Kolawole, and from there, all the previous commissioners that were there since the inception of the project. And I just came in 2020 or 2021. 2021, 2022, saw how this progressed and was able to complete it with the contractor and the consultant. I passionately believe in the project, as well as the concept, because as we all hear already, we are a testament to how well the Innovation Hub is for Kwara. And we even needed a landmark to sort of pinpoint in Kwara State that we are here to stay in regards to tech and innovation, and we will be the best in Africa. I think that was the statement. To be part of it, I mean, to be lucky to be part of the team. We can all do something like this in our own little community. I believe every community in the state and even in Nigeria needs a community-based innovation center. And it doesn't have to be a physical space. I feel all the other people that have done Innovation Hub, like Mal Hub and others, since Kwara State has seen the vision of Ilorin Innovation Hub, and they have started it for it to catalyze to this point.
Wow, thank you so much for that response. I still want to ask though, like, what is your advice to young women who would, like, in that kind of team? How do you carry yourself in that kind of situation? Like, what are tips and tricks that we could hang on to?
Okay, since this is more of a in-house discussion, how can you be part of that team? It's just to become a person of value. Like if you are a person that, oh, this doesn't concern me, don't let me do this. gives a very wrong signal, especially because it notes that you are not a point of contact and you are not a point of value. So when certain things come up, you can say, "Oh yes, I have this certain contacts that have come through. Should I send you this number?" When they're having conversation, everybody has different perspective. I remember that in my role, it's not everything that I know, it's not everything that I push, and there are people that bring interesting, innovative ideas. And from there, don't think your idea is too small. It's by discussing with people that you grow it, and just show that you are someone of value and try to understand what is going on around you. Like all of you here that you are in this space this time is because you're paying attention to those things on social media, in your surroundings, that we're able to even know that such a thing is going on and come true. I think you're already, everybody that is here, and whether virtually or here, you're already in your way being in those spaces.
Wow, thank you so much. So be a person of value. I think that's something to hold on to. Okay, moving on to our next speaker. My first question for you is, if we want more African women building the future, what do we need to fix in our workplaces, narratives, or support systems based on your experience as a woman in a marketing team, like leading a marketing team?
Okay, hello everyone. So we're doing amazing right now. There are initiatives that keep popping up every day. I'm talking women in tech, tech women this, tech women that, and I think that we're not there yet, but we're doing amazing. However, I think one thing that I would like to be fixed and I would like us to integrate into these things that we're currently doing is the soft skills that we teach young women. So when I say soft skills, I mean right now the initiatives that we have are focused on the hard skills, right? The soft skills like confidence, like taking risk. So I'll give you an example. Very recently, I had to guide a colleague on something around. So I work in marketing. I had to guide somebody, something marketing. I don't want to mention it. Yeah, and he did it at his workplace. He worked on it a couple times, like a couple weeks. Only for him to reach out to me like about 2 weeks later, and he was like, "Alpha, I want to start teaching people this thing. Or what are your tips on it?" And I was just like, even me that I taught you, I have not thought of teaching other people. I'm just trying to highlight the difference between the way men think and the way women think. The way they just take risk immediately. You just learned this thing 2 weeks ago. What do you mean you want to start teaching people? And he's not wrong for teaching people. He knows how to. He's been able to see results from it. That's why he wants to teach people. So I think being able to teach young women these soft skills like confidence, taking risks. I'll give you another example. There was this team that I was leading sometime last year, and I had like there were about four in the team. So there were guys and there was like a lady. She was the only lady amongst them. And I remember there was one time I was having a meeting with her, and she was asking me if so I was the lead, and others are like on the same level as her. She was asking me if one other guy in the team was a boss because of the way he bossed her around a lot. And I remember just thinking, if you have to ask, you've not gotten to that level of, you don't have that confidence. Because if someone on your level can be bossing you around like that, you've not gotten that kind of confidence to, handle situations like that. And I told her, I said, I am not going to handle this situation for you. I want you to handle it yourself because that's the best way we can teach young women to handle situations like that, to do better, in the workplaces. It's even things like being able to ask for what. Yeah, I've seen male friends of mine, just go for very big, big figures that ordinarily I would even think. Another example. So sorry, I'm giving examples anyway. Another example, yeah. I was very early in my career. Um, my brother, who was still in secondary school at the time, came to visit me, and I was on an interview. So they were asking. So I was earning about 5 figures at the time, and I wanted to go to six figures. So they were asking, "Well, what's your salary expectation?" So he happened to be in the room at the time. Bear in mind that he was in secondary school. I'm just trying to highlight the way we think, like how different it is from how men think. Anyway, he was in the room and then asked, okay, what's your salary expectation? And I said, oh, like 80,000. And that was me that wanted to go for 6 figures. So I said 80,000 naira. And you're like, okay. And we wrapped up the conversation. And he just looked at me and was like, why did you just say like 150, 120? This boy was in secondary school. He didn't have any context to what I wanted to do at the time or achieve at the time. And I think that maybe society, the way society is structured, the way we're always thinking to play it safe as women. Always thinking to, I don't want to offend people. I want to be humble. I don't want to. So I think what we can do better is basically just teach those soft skills, confidence, taking risk, charging for what you are worth. And yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for that brilliant answer. Yes, I actually agree with that because I can relate with how like your male friends or your male colleagues just go for it, and then you are thinking, are we not in the same place? That kind of thing. But thank you so much. So we should work on our soft skills. So my next question to our honorable commissioner. Coming. Okay.
Thank you for that. I can
Yeah.
definitely relate to that. And funny thing, I was having a conversation with someone, and they were even saying generational differences also cause this issue. Because he was saying that from his own perspective, I'm not sure if he's a millennial because putting in millennial is a stretch for him. But like, yeah, he admires something about Gen Zs and the fact that they can speak their mind and say anything, and especially his daughter, like the way that she will call him and the way he called his own parents were very different. That imagine you're in a room and the president or the governor is around you because of like traditional belief. He would just sit there until they call on him to say something. Meanwhile, someone like this young lady, she just stood up and then she started saying, your Excellency, this is what you did, and this is this, and everything. And he just looked at the lady like, what? Normally, he would have waited to address, even in terms of greetings. And I saw that that is actually, as much as, our parents taught us to be very respectful, but they also taught us to be very demure, don't to be too forward, be humble. And in some ways it's very good because you don't teach that again, but in other ways you're also harming us, so it was very interesting.
Yes. Okay. So my next question for you will be: many young people feel opportunities are concentrated in places like Lagos or Abuja, for instance. What will you say are the unique advantages that Ilorin has, especially for women, when it comes to building innovation? Are there any like maybe grants or any programs that women can hold on to?
Okay, thank you for that question. Yes, there is a lot of opportunities in places like Lagos because it has become very saturated. However, what people don't say is that the competition there is also very rigorous. Even if your idea is good, the likelihood of you failing is very high. The high cost of living, the cost of coders, the cost of developers, the cost of pretty much everything. Usually, what we see online is we hear people calling figures. I just raised a $1 million valuation. I just did like this 5 million, or I'm earning this 2 billion. But by the time you do a deep down dive into their business, maybe they are in the talks for those rounds, but they've not received it. Sometimes they've received it, and the earnings is not in proportion to what they've received. And to be honest, most VCs, most financial institutions, based on our interactions with them, because we wanted them to also come into Kwara, are even stopping this altogether because they've not received their money back. In Nigeria now, most of the money that has come in, and out of like 100 plus startups, only two or three sort of were a success. Flutter Wave, like what we saw previously, Paystack with Stripe. But even that, it's not that their business are majorly successful. What they bank on is the user, the amount of users they have, and also because they've been able to exit. So the founders are getting the money, but I'm not sure if the business is making that money. And that's not what is being told to us. But on the side of the question, there are a lot of opportunities. I think we should not only look beyond what grants and funding are available in Kwara. We've been able to build like a hub and different areas where you are able to learn and you are able to scale and find interactions and network to develop your business. Because if you don't have a business concept, you can't even start talking about these opportunities. But there are already a lot of grants that are targeted towards specific women and young women. We have it more easy than any other time ever because the equality agenda and the gender affirmation that is going on globally and also in Nigeria. The UN has different grants. There are a lot of startup grants specifically for women-led businesses. I mean, after this event, I on the ministry's page, I can post a few networks and a few should I say, LinkedIn companies that help women to scale up their businesses and give you access to grants. But you have to work for those grants. You have to prove your business concept. So it's not that they are not available, but are you accessing them? Are you doing the work to access them? And we even have situations where, like Bank of Industry (BOI), and some of those grants, UN grants, they come to us that we're not getting enough applications in Kwara. There are not enough businesses applying, whether from a women-led businesses or men one. Even when we post them online, we don't get traction. Sometimes we have to go physically to find businesses or talk to like ministry to put them on WhatsApp pages that anybody that are interested. But by the time they come in, whatever they present is not presentable. It's not. We're also working on different companies to come in, VCs. We are working on government-led agendas, but some of those numbers are not encouraging. And when they hear you want to come, they will say, how many can you give us? And we don't have those data.
Okay, so thank you so much for that answer. That means that we as women, we actually have to look out for those opportunities and actually apply to even encourage the people to like come here and see what we're actually building. So we need to take advantage of the opportunities and even the opportunities for learning here, like Innovation Hub. You can come here to work and do other things. So thank you so much for that answer. Over to our next speaker. So my second question for you is actually very practical. I want you to give us a practical example since you work in marketing. So, what is one simple strategy that women can start using today to grow visibility for their brand or idea, even with a very small budget?
Okay, so I think the simplest strategy is to pick up your phone and just face the camera.
Okay, social
That's the
media.
simplest strategy, to be honest. We're in such interesting times where before, if you wanted to maybe you wanted to gain the attention of top investors and the likes, all you had to do was, maybe get the right team, ensure you built like a minimum viable product. And it still applies to now. Obviously, you should have a, you should have an MVP, right? But social media has made things easier. Just pick up your phone. You are building a product. You are working with a team on something. Just pick up your phone and talk about it. So a very great example of this is Root. Yeah, that's her name. Root of Nestuge. So Nestuge is this product that is a competitor to Seller. They basically, okay, Nestuge. All right, great. I'm in the midst of smart women. Awesome. So Root of Nestuge, she's been doing something very recently that I really admire. She just picks up her phone and she talks about, lessons that she's been able to learn so far in their journey. Basically, just walking people through the entire journey. And what that does is that if you didn't do that, you'll be building in secret. Nobody would know what you're building, right? Other than your customers, the ones that they are referring and the likes. But the fact that you're able to just pick up your camera and start to make those videos, you get the attention of the investor that ordinarily, like normally, you would have to, create slides and all of that for. She mentioned something earlier about how women, yeah, they don't apply for these grants, for these investments and all of that. I bet you if one of these women just picked up their phones to start talking, and they just gained followers, they gained their attention, she would reach out to them, right? The Kwara state government, you just like they'll reach out, they'll approach them. Why? Because you've made yourself visible. So that's the simplest strategy, to be honest. You don't have money, but you have phone, you have camera, you have tripod. Pick it up and just start making videos. Yeah.
Please, can we just give a round of applause to our speakers so far? And I hope you are preparing your questions because after this round, we would open the floor for questions. Yes, that's a very good strategy. Social media, social media. So my last question to you, Miss Honorable Commissioner. My last question to you will be: as a young woman in a high-profile government role, what challenges have you faced, and how do you see your journey inspiring more women in tech and policy? Okay, sure, sure. So, as a young woman in a high profile government role, what challenges have you faced and how do you see your journey inspiring more women in tech and policy?
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Interesting enough, I never. You can actually call me Damilola. No need for honorable commissioner.
No problem.
Interesting enough, I never saw myself in government, in
Okay.
governance. I was always a private sector person, and from a family of private sector and entrepreneurs and business owners. We've never had anything to do with government ever. For me, governance was something that was way, way, way outside my purview. It was just something we had discussions about. It was not. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
thank God I have a screen protector. So it was just something we talked about, what's happening in government and how that affects um, our business. But meeting His Excellency actually changed that purview right from the inception because initially I came in Kwara State government because I've always been in Kwara State. Kwara State was where we had our businesses and we could see so much possibility of what would happen in Kwara State and I've always seen the governor and with friends that were in governance, some of the amazing things that were being done in Kwara State and I was like, oh, that is the government to look out for. I remember meeting His Excellency, and he was like, "Are you interested in contributing to the state?" And right away, because it was someone that I admired, and through his lenses, you could see how governance can be different and how it can be very impactful. So immediately, it wasn't even a thought process. And I was not expecting anything coming from this. It was just a discussion. I was like, yes. And right away, I think like a day or two after I got a call from the state house, like, am I interested in being on the board of Harmony Holdings at that time? And I said yes. I sent my CV and everything on. And being part of the board was so interesting. I saw so many businesses that Kwara State participated in, the businesses that failed, and the ones that, and the thought process and concepts that came with those businesses, and the ones that even went on to do very well. I don't know if you guys know the diagnosis center, the one in Asadam, is actually under Harmony Holdings. There were some moribund companies that were under it. Also, the transport area was also under, which were doing very well at the time. And I remember meeting a number of different people on this board, pure core politicians, technocrats, business people, and bankers, and it was more or less a conversation on how Kwara State can become better on a business perspective. From there, I mean, the journey to become like the honorable commissioner. And what impacted me more most of all is not just the policy, but the social welfare and actually thinking beyond profit, which I've always done. You look at a concept, you look at a business plan, and you say, what is the profit that is going to come about it? But now you look at, okay, what's the profit? Yes, but what's the social impact? And that's what we did, and that's where Innovation Hub came about. You won't say Innovation Hub is a profit making hub, but it's a socially impactful um, company. The same with garment factory. Like garment factory now, based on the manufacturing, you should be able to hire not less than 1,000 people, and we're looking at employment, not just profit. And but you also have to marry private sector and governments, and that's why we are doing a we've already publicized, and there's a private company that is going to come in for a strategic PPP with the state to manage garment factory. But this is just what the state is doing. Beyond that, how do you get into policy? Um, I think it's very right for women to be involved in this conversation because we are more than half of the population in Kwara State and in Nigeria, and there are a lot of social as well as policies that directly affect us that we are not involved in. You cannot say, oh, because I don't want to be involved in politics, or maybe some biases that individuals, whether family or close friends or yourself, have about government, not want to come in. Because if you don't come in, who changes that? And interestingly enough, the person at the top directs how policy and governance is run. As a woman, you think I would have a lot of challenges in my role. I've always had challenges from a youth perspective as well as a woman perspective, right from the inception of my career. However, with Kwara State, it was a little bit different. There were 12 other commissioners that were women, and there were a lot of women PAMSEC, and that's what a lot of people don't speak about. I think there's actually more women PAMSEC than men, although like from what I hear is a equal half. And in my ministry, myself, my PAMSEC, and my DPFS, which are the three most important roles, are women.
Wow, that's great.
So in a state where the governor is more or less with you, is the he for she person, and it's more or less there to actually change the agenda, it makes it easy. I think at most what I get is a few people that are still sort of biased, but it's more or less proving as a youth I'm capable of that role. You will always have challenges in whatever role. There's challenge in my role, there's challenge in whatever roles that you are taking now. Everything comes with a challenge, and you're not going to be good in the start. You are just going to become better and rise to that occasion. The moment you give up, you have given up for yourself and other women that will come after you. Because if you are in that role and you don't do well, or at least try to do well, there will be a bias of that person that wants to hire that. I don't want to hire women again. I've met people that would say, I don't hire unless they are female, especially for certain roles. And that's not even coming from a governance perspective, that's coming from a private sector. Actually, in finance, interestingly enough, there's a lot of finance company and treasury position that they will tell you, we don't hire men, we only hire women. So there are certain advantages that women have. Of course, the same can be said for operations that demand physical role, that we only hire men, we don't hire women. But we have to like target those roles and also come about in governance and policy. I hope I've been able to answer that question. I know
Yes, you've been able to answer the question. So I think as a woman, if you're in that kind of role, you should understand that that position, you're actually empowering other women that are coming next. So um, to you, I would like you to give us your parting words. What would you like to say to everybody that is listening to you in just a few minutes? And so that we can just take like one question and then we're done.
Okay, I think I'll just reiterate. Please be confident. That's it. Let's just be confident. That same role, that same thing that your male counterparts are doing, you can do better. You can do better. And there's one thing about Nigerian women is that we know how to achieve, like all round football, entertainment, in tech, everything. We just know how to achieve. So please just be confident. That's my parting words, to be honest. Be confident. Just be confident. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to open the floor for one question. One question. Okay. My sister here.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for the wonderful session. I really enjoyed it and I can't wait to put it into practice. My question is, how can we or how can a person that loves to do a lot of things find focus in business? And when you fail in business, how do you rise up? Like, some people are scared of failure in business. That okay, what if I start this and I fail, and I start another business? People start saying that go low, like that Yoruba, this and that. You do this, you do that. Which one do you want to do?
Okay.
Okay, so I want to take that part where you said Gbogbo that how do you sorry, there's a way she framed the question. Yeah, how do you focus on one thing? Yeah, so I think when it comes to business, yeah, building products, building whatever, at the end of the day, it has to be that thing that is profitable. You can have passions, you can have ideas, you can have all of these things, right? So I'll give you an example of a woman that did something like this. So Odun of Piggy Vest, Oduwani of Piggy Vest, she and her friends, they started different projects, right? They did this company like that for employability. They did a couple of things. They started different companies, right? But they settled on the one that was profitable. So the reason it feels like, oh, you're everywhere is because you've not found that one that is bringing you money. If you found that one, stick to it. And there's no shame in starting and failing businesses. Most of the big guys, big tech guys that we know today, they all failed at so many things before they then found that one that stuck, that one that actually worked. Yeah. And also, you should also be flexible and adaptable. So example is Childek, right? The way Childek has been able to build, sorry, the noise from that place. The way Childek has been able to, they've been able to build their products in a way where, they started with food. We all know they started with food. Now they are doing head time. Right? Initially, you must have thought, oh, what's the correlation between food and airtime? But now it doesn't really seem so bad because it's coming from Childek. So there are so many things you want to do. Start with one, right? Start with one, and then you start to build others into the product. Start integrating into the product. I really hope that answers your question.
That answers the question. And I'll just open the floor for her to ask a question. Yes.
I'm very grateful for this privilege. Thank you so much. All right, my question is when you have an idea that looks larger than you, there are some ideas that come to you and you know that this is quite futuristic and you want it to solve an immediate problem. Is there a platform in Kwara State, and especially I'm actually throwing it to you, there is a platform in Kwara State where one can share such a thought and then probably derive collaboration, help. So it won't just be about me keeping it till I have the resource. But is there a platform like that?
Thank you very much for that question. Interestingly enough, your question is what Innovation Hub was built for. So you're already sitting and in the space where you can share those ideas. But for whatever ideas you have, people won't take you seriously unless you start. So even if it's larger than life, look at how you can put it into a concept. My husband and I have something that because we have a few businesses together, we have something that we do when we have an idea. Create a concept note. How do you first create a concept note? And that's where AI helps you. So whatever ideas you have, run it and create a concept note. Then from a concept note, then you do sort of like, how do I put it? You do a targeted pilot phase, just a small pilot. And that's where Innovation Hub comes in because they can help you to do that pilot. And honestly, the ministry's door is also very open. When people are doing events, ideas, businesses, even just the fact that you want to just inform the government because it helps your project in which you can say you are supported by Kwara State government. We have a lot of businesses that send in their concept and the profile of their businesses to the ministry, and what we do is now have a meeting with them, with me inclusive, and we listen to the idea. If it's something that Kwara State government is already doing, or there are certain ministries that we can refer you to, we will do that. If it's not something that we can help with, but just to keep it in our file that we have a Kwara State business that is doing so, we will put it and listen to the idea, and we will tell you, oh, okay, we heavily support this. So when you are pitching to others, you can say this idea is proudly supported by Kwara State government. We don't have to support you financially. We just have to be your backing. And having state as a backing, actually when you're talking to investors, it's goes a long way. So those are the things that you can do. You putting it in your head that it's a big idea, and you might not even know if it's a big idea or a mind-blowing idea unless you talk to people about it and you put it in pages. Because what would be hard for you by the time you meet someone, I had a project that I was like, oh, this thing would be so good. I brought a few people in and flew them, and it was something that they resolved within 2 hours. And it's not because I don't have skill, but it's because they have skills in that regard. So put it out there. Sorry?
Like it's just for you to scale.
Can you tell us what this idea is?
Okay. So it has to do with CVET. I know there is an organization in Kwara State already that is already in that line, but it's not out there. One, the location is not even favorable because I'm aware it's somewhere around after Amti. Okay, so and we want it's something that should start from childhood. Okay, not just it shouldn't be that people run into skills, and by skills I'm not just talking about the soft skill now, hard hands-on skills now.
Sorry, did you say event?
TVET, okay, it's technical, vocational, and entrepreneurial training.
Okay.
Okay, yes. There are simpler ways. There are ways to ensure that it could be incorporated into education, even from childhood. That it won't be like it's after the BSc or whatever, then it becomes a last resort. That's what we do right now. So after education, then people now start learning all those things. Is there no way we could incorporate it into early learning? So that is something that we have started already, okay, but to make it attractive, to make the people that we even want to, our target audience, want it and come towards it, it's something that needs to be done in a better way.
Okay, since you already have an experience doing it,
Okay.
you already have proof that you've already done it in-house in your own businesses.
Yes.
Why not create like a report on what you have done,
Okay.
and then now target it? How does that benefit your own business? Because you can't bring an idea that doesn't benefit you personally and it doesn't benefit your business.
Absolutely.
Now look at it that based on your experience, what unique offering can you give for that? Do you see that you want to open like a space like this to teach people?
Okay.
Is it that you want to partner with ministries to educate people on this? Or do you want to run a franchise that with other people that could do something similar? Or they're already doing one or two, but you feel like they can encompass all of this together? that you teach them and give them those tools. Like, look at it and look at how you want to distribute it, and from there you now start scaling a little at a time.
So what would this communication channel be like?
It's up to you to determine. I can't run a business for you.
No, not for my hand. Okay, so when all of these are ready, what's the next ministry to move on to?
Send it to as many ministries as possible. Any ministry that is relevant to your idea, send it to it. Any businesses that is relevant to your idea, send it. Because you never know who will reach out. And if you don't put yourself out there, nobody is going to come and meet you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we just have Grace for one more question. Okay, so my sister over there, she raised her hand first. I might have shaded the guys earlier when I started, but I'm sure you have been learning something too. To the guys here. Okay.
Yes, thank you. So my question is, for someone that is like a fresh graduate or someone that doesn't like have any idea about tech, what maybe tech or anything that we can go to as a women, like
So I'm going to.
Okay. So the tech industry is quite large, right? So we have the technical parts and then we have the non-technical parts. So the technical parts are the software engineering, the likes of them, right? We have the non-technical parts, which are like the product design, we have the product management, product marketing, right? They're quite, it's a large industry. So usually how it works is when you want to transition to tech or you want to start in tech, you need to start with that thing that feels very natural to you. So I used to write in school. I used to write articles. I used to write for blogs and the likes. So it felt natural. And I also studied mass communication. So it felt natural for me to just transition from that into marketing. So from content writing into content marketing, social media marketing, and then I just grew from there. So you need to start with that thing that feels natural to you right now. Yeah. So some people have the high for design. Yeah. So if you have the high for design, product design is the part to go into, right? So you can just start by learning UI UX, yeah, and then start to practice, reach out to people, work on projects for free, and then you keep going like that. If you like numbers, yeah. So for example, my sister, she studied economics and she likes numbers, right? So I advise her to go into data analytics. Yeah. So the way it works is you need to start with that thing that feels very natural to you, and then just grow from there. That's the best way.
A round of applause for that response. I think one more person had a question. Okay, that was you, and that'll be it.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Um, please, what advice can you give to young women that are very passionate about innovation and technology, but has not found their like they have not found a path that they want to go into? Like for example, now I'm studying information technology, and I'm currently in 300 level. I don't know which path to go into. This is not about skill, but innovation like business. So, what advice do you have for somebody like that? And also, you made mention of some business opportunities for women in Kwara State. How can we like get more access to that kind of information? Because I'm somebody that is always looking out for opportunities, but I've never heard of something like that since I've been here.
Okay. Yes. So I think the two of you answer it just briefly.
Um, okay, I think she's already mentioned something regarding if you're a woman going into tech. I think there's many different parts. I met some couple of young women that did a lot of internship just so she can find the path and the area that she feels was most comfortable for her and what she feels is ideal. One of the things that you can also do is do a lot of research on women as well as men in tech. look at the people that interest you, look into their journey, and try to find mentors basically. And it's not mentor, you don't have to be face to face with your mentor. You can have a virtual mentors. I have a lot of virtual mentors, by the way, because I'm someone that wants to go into private equity, and I had to do a lot of research on that because there's not a lot of women that is in private equity in Nigeria. And that led me to some research of women like Sahel Group and different that in here in Nigeria as well as in the US. So try to do a lot of research, do a research on all the roles that are in tech, the people that are there, and try to find the ones that catch your eye. And from there, you now put down their journey, and from there you see where to start. And to be honest, it's not one size fits all. I think people just say, oh, I'm in this, I'm in that. They have, I need people that, yes, like for example, she might be here for marketing, but you don't know how many businesses that she has behind her, how many things she's doing, as well. So just explore, don't limit yourself. And I wanted to answer the question that she asked, like, jack of all trades. Um, there's this saying that, jack of all trades, master of none. But thing is that we had actually we had a conference here that someone spoke with us. I don't know if you know Prince Dakwade Deji. He was saying that for each one, every human, actually in today's economy, we have our passion, we have what we do for a living, and we have what we want to do for a living. It was a very interesting and impactful one because I'm someone that I feel like I am not stable. I have many things I'm doing, and for that you can call me jack of all trades. But at the same time, I'm also sitting here to discuss about governance, and similarly, I can go to other field and talk about business, and I can go to other area and talk about fashion. But all of this comes under my person because that is the interest I have and that's the passion that I follow. So, and in today's world, you don't meet one person that just does one thing. Every CEO that you meet has multiple different fields that they've gone through, and that's what makes them a CEO. Have you met a CEO that only does one thing? So I think we should remove that myth of doing multiple things because every single thing you do is adding to your skill as an individual. So don't look at it that you are in information technology, you are 300 level, you are still in the beginning stage. Explore everything you can explore. If someone gives you a job here, take it. If they say come and do product development or product design, take it. If they want you to do product design, take it. You never know how the combination of those skills would bring you to who you will later be. And in regards to the opportunities for businesses, so it's not business opportunities that I was talking about, is that businesses having grants and funding. Usually, I don't know if you follow the ministry's page on Instagram or on Facebook. Is anybody following ministry? Okay. So some of that we publicize, some that come to me on WhatsApp, and we send to various different WhatsApp group. But what I would do is try to put someone on that every one of these opportunities, whether groups that I know personally or businesses that you do mentorship that grows you to get funding, we'll start putting it on the ministry's profile. Even UN opportunities and job opportunities that come from like all companies and other things. We'll post it on the ministry's platform so that everybody can have access if it is to apply or you need help in certain things. We will do that. And regarding failing businesses, oh my god, I have had many failed businesses personally. My first business I failed very woefully. And I think I lost about like 1.5 mil. And there are still businesses that you might look up to that are still failing. You just don't know. So business fail, you pick yourself back up, start something new. And to be honest, not everybody, I say this, and I'm not trying to bring anybody down. and it's more or less a review. And because I was part of HR function in camp, and we do this thing where we have one-on-one discussions with you. That way you're able to do your, everybody knows, performance appraisal period. So we talk about what exactly you've learned. Are you comfortable in this role? Do you feel that you do better, especially with interns and trainees? Do you feel comfortable in this department? Through your working period, do you feel that you want to go into another department? And it's just to have a check-in conversation. Are you comfortable? Can you do this? If you cannot do it, there's no such thing as giving up, because everybody has expertise in certain things. And you move with life, and that way, both with luck and learning, you get to where you want to get to. So thank you.
I just want to mention, she mentioned something about mentorship earlier, virtual mentorship. So there are platforms online that you can actually connect with mentors. So one of them is ADP List, where you can just connect with mentors to even speak with, there's even mentors as SO. Basically, technology has made so many things easier, faster, there's easy accessibility these days. So just, I think she was going to ask earlier, just check online for ADP List and you can connect with people that can even mentor you.
Yes, ADP list. And what's the second one? Mentors.so. Okay. So I'm sure that everybody would have picked like one or two things from this beautiful session. Even if you didn't get to ask your own personal question, there are a lot of things that were shared here. So, and also I wanted to say about the mentorship stuff, the virtual mentorship. You can go online, search on YouTube. If you see somebody that you like what they are doing, just follow them. Like social media has made it very easy right now. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll be wrapping up. We have wrapped up this session.
Imagine, I've been supporting your movement. You did not even remember me that this guy too needs to stand somewhere. Well, no problem. Let me also feature somewhere. Who said that's how? Everybody go back to your seat now. Where's our cap? Okay, I thought maybe you ran away. All right, can we say at the shout of KBTC 25, you just say next builder. KBCT 25.